All right, everyone, welcome to our Thursday night series in the iNRS Racing event. Tonight, we are in round 2 of the playoffs here at New Hampshire, and we're looking forward to a great night tonight. Hopefully, it all works out. Welcome again to the IWM Broadcast Network. I'm Rick Souza, here with Sal Nicosia.
Hey, that's it. Right on the money.
I practiced a little bit. Don't tell anybody. All right, so Sal, here we got practice is winding down. We're going to go into qualifying here at New Hampshire, which I believe is except for the road course, it's probably the flattest track on the circuit. And then we've got 5 minutes of warm-up drivers meetings, and we got lots to cover.
Yeah, and these guys are going to need all the time they can get to get around here and really feel this track because it's so unique. Like you said, one of the flattest tracks on the circuit. People try to liken it to Worldwide Technology Raceway, but really, very much so its own unique place to race at New Hampshire, and a lot of things to unpack and a lot of time these drivers are going to want to get those reps in.
Absolutely. All right, so we're waiting for the drivers to get out on the track and start their qualifying efforts. We're about to see a few drivers make that. Again, if you're familiar with iRacing, it happens at the same time, so they're all virtually qualifying out there. Let's see if we pick up Ty Bostic here, making his way around New Hampshire. They've got 2 laps to qualify, 1 lap to get up to speed, 2 laps to qualify. Here, the second lap is typically going to be your fastest lap.
Yeah, definitely one where you want to feel how hard you can push the car the first lap, get some speed in it, and then lay it all on the line on that second lap to give yourself that track position.
Well, and there's what you see right there. We've seen this before. This is a very easy track to get out of shape on, and you've got to get at least your first lap in, get you a qualifying time, because you don't want to be in the back.
Yeah, working your way forward from the rear of the pack here is not something that's fun or comfortable because of the nature of the track. So getting that qualifying time down, making sure you're at least in a position you feel comfortable is super, super important. It's not easy. You saw Ty Bostic spin off the exit of 2 there. You don't want to do that all night long.
Seeing sometimes beginning to be posted up at the moment. Matt Parasini is on top of the tower, but that's obviously qualifying is just underway. We've got about 22 entries or so, I believe, tonight. Just so far, 6 have put up a time, so more to follow. So while we're doing that, let's talk about what tonight's race is all about. Obviously, it's the second round of the playoffs. We've got 3 events here, Kansas and the Roval, but tonight, again, it's New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire, 151 laps. It'll be stage break at lap 51. You're going to have to keep things fairly put together because there are no quick repairs. You break it, you buy it. Pit row speed, 45 miles an hour, making sure you don't get caught speeding. That's an important thing considering all the other tracks we've been to this year. 6 sets of tires, 1 on the car, 5 in the pits with 75% fuel. And we will finish hopefully under checkered flag conditions, but we will have 3 green, white checker restarts if we need them here tonight.
All right, drivers are back on track, getting their qualifying in. Number of drivers you've seen right now. Austin Wheeler is sitting atop, but once we go past, we've got about another 2 minutes or so left of qualifying. Let's see if there's anybody currently out there right now. Yep, that's Garrett Walden out there in the 43 Valvoline Chevrolet, and he's wrapping up his qualifying efforts. Scott Thomas on the track.
Yeah, just getting their times in, getting around here, feeling it out, making sure you're comfortable. Having to shift here too, and 3 and 4 is something that's a little different. We haven't faced in a while. These drivers are going to have to get well adjusted to that to make some quick time. As you see, 59, that's John DeRugeris back in action this week. See if he can't get himself a good spot in the grid here as we get the night rolling on.
Right now, currently sitting 10th with his first qualifying lap, and looks like the second lap was a little bit better. Let's see, that moves him up to 4th.
That's a great run for John, and just being able to get that speed out of it, go from 10th to 4th in 2 qualifying laps bodes well for John and what he's trying to do here. There's a points race, points chase, a points race happening. Like we said, we're in this first round of the first race of the second round of the playoffs now. So want to get those points tucked away, maybe even get a win tucked away early and not have to worry.
All right, we're pretty much wrapping up qualifying. Just a few seconds to go here. I think Mike Wheel is on track. Let's see, pick up Mike. I think he is the last driver to qualify.
Getting every second's worth out of it. I don't blame him. Try to just improve that time as much as he can. There you go. Got a couple spots there from, I think, 21st to 19th. Take what he can get.
All right, that pretty much wraps up qualifying. Just 7 seconds left to go. Everybody has put up a time. And we are now in our warm-up. So with that, we'll let the drivers have their drivers meeting. Let's look at where we stand right now and those drivers who have made the cut and are now in the second round here. All right, there we go. So Jordan Wenzel's out on top along with Austin Wheeler. We've seen their names up on top of the leaderboard a lot this season. Tyler Lem there, Ty Bostic, Jacob Musow, Corey Ennis. Here's where it gets to be a little bit. Well, actually, you know what? It could be. It's still early. There's not. No one's really safe at this early stage. But really, from 12th to like second, those could all change by the end of this race.
Yeah, it's really tight. I mean, you see some of the drivers on the bubble, +1, -1, -5, +5, +4. I mean, this could look totally different by the end of the night and by the beginning of next week. So drivers are going to want to make sure, again, we talked about qualifying and track position here. You want to make sure you're super consistent and you want to get those points in the bag early.
Absolutely. All right, so with that, and really those drivers, anybody who's made the cut at this point, New Hampshire's a tough track. They've got their work cut out for them tonight to try and get around this flat oval here for 151 laps. It's anybody's race, no matter at the top or the bottom here. It's really how you manage, in my opinion, the meat in this sandwich, because Kansas, the next race, that for me, that seems to be the place where you've really got a chance to do something, because after that, it's a road course at the Roval.
Yeah, the Roval's really like a specialist driver's track, right? There's not everybody has that under their belt, that discipline of racing where, it's great for the guys who maybe struggle a little bit more at the ovals, but it's going to be rough, I think, for those who are a little bit less initiated to the road course, especially Roval, especially the way they've changed that facility over the last year or so. So should be interesting to be a cut race.
Absolutely. All right, just 2.5 minutes left. Let's move on to what else we got here. So that's the standings. Keys. Let's talk about keys to tonight's race.
Absolutely. So a few keys here tonight. New Hampshire is one of these places, again, very flat, very different in terms of oval tracks that we're used to seeing in the series. Tire wear will be something that's crucial. Being able to control the fall off here and not push the car so hard that you end up being easy to be bumped or easy to be slid up track or slide up the track all on your own. Super important. That also plays into the corner entry exit. We saw a lot of drivers spinning off the exit of turn 2 in the practice and qualifying sessions. Really having throttle control and throttle discipline here, it really weeds out some of the more patient drivers on the pedal and those who really want to hammer down and get rolling. And then track position and pit strategy go hand in hand here. Pit strategy probably the more important of the two, but very symbiotic in their relationship with one another here at New Hampshire. You're going to want to make sure you are getting the opportunity to get your pit under green if we get a lot of pit under green condition here tonight. So it'll be fun to see it all come together, I think. But those are just a handful of things to keep your eyes and ears open for out here tonight as these guys go points racing in the playoff here.
All right, with just less than 1 minute left, you can see with the timer on the clock there, they're wrapping up their meeting, and we'll get this race underway. So as Sal said, those are our keys to tonight's race. One of the things that we didn't mention in those keys that they'll have to deal with is this is a very flat track. We've talked about that, but as this is part-time drivers. It's not something that people do for a full-time. Braking is critical. What I mean by that is as you enter into the corner, you'll see drivers, and we'll highlight this, that they'll utilize downshifting to try and slow that car down, but it's different for every single driver.
Yep.
And your braking points are going to be different than the guys around you. And that can, unfortunately, all it takes is one little tap on that left side, left rear, and you are basically getting tossed into the wall. It could also be on the other side. But the point I'm trying to make is that any initial contact going into the corner, you are the most vulnerable. And it's up to these drivers to kind of figure out exactly how to do this, how to survive, how to get around without damaging your race car.
Yeah, no small task.
Absolutely not. All right, so we're getting the grid up here. That's a great sign. That's a positive for us here. So let's go ahead. Let's see if we've got this. Let's get our grid.
All right, starting in the first row on the pole, Austin Wheeler. On the outside, it's Jeff Ramsdell. Row number 2, it's Matthew Parasini and John DeRugeris. Row number 3, Jordan Wenzel, Jacob Musau. Great battle there. Jacob coming away, or one of the Musau brothers coming away with the win last week. That's Joe Musau in row number 4 with Tyler Lem, Corey Ennis and Dakota LaRue in row 5, and Shane Trotter and Tony Japs wrapping it up in row 6 there as we have the first 12 cars there on grid.
All right, in 11th, you've got Shane Trotter, Tony Japs in 12th, Scott Thomas in 13th, Austin Walton in 14th, Garrett Walden in 15th with Richard Mills in 16th, Ron Fitting in 17th with Vince Burns to the outside in 18th, Mike Wheel in 19th, Ty Bostic in 20th, Christopher Cash is in 21st with John Ledger to the outside, taking up the last starting position in tonight's event. 22 drivers will be out there tonight competing for someone to get a win tonight and punch their ticket into the round of 8.
Yeah, and they're going to lay it all out there on the line. This is a track where I feel like, just for me, Rick, it's a sneaky place where people you would least expect to feel comfortable here, maybe have something for them that is going to get them to the front and going to get them a victory. So we'll see what happens here tonight. I expect a new winner.
Absolutely. All right, drivers are making their way around, getting ready to get underway here. Austin Wheeler's out in front. He's kind of the control car. Get this underway. As they enter the Echo Park restart zone, and we're underway here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, we saw Austin Wheeler lead all those laps last week at Bristol Motor Speedway, and we saw him go through restarts like they were nothing, and he's doing it again already here tonight as we get fired off. Getting a good jump, leading the pack down the backstretch. Jeff Ramsdell going to fill his mirror up. These guys, this race is going to be a fun one. Cars 2x2x2 most of the way here, and don't look now, Matthew Parasini getting himself involved here as the battle for second place heats up.
Yeah, just right under the 97 of Jeff Ramsdell. But they're still 2x2 all the way back here.
Everybody just minding their P's and Q's, it looks like so far. The high line and the low line here, very different than other tracks. We'll keep talking about it all night. Sound like a couple of broken records, but how flat this track is, it really can't be overstated enough because of how easy it is to slide up the track and not have the banking help you get through the corner. Some drivers are great at it and love it. Some drivers wish they were elsewhere right now inside of that car, I'm sure. But, you know, Jeff Ramsdell. Oh, as we got a car
That's the
slipping and sliding
43.
there.
Caution did not come out for the 43. We are still under green flag. 97 also tagged the wall there.
There you go. 24 Matthew Parasini going up into the wall there. It looked like he just drove it in a little hard and caught Jeff Ramsdale, got him up in the wall. No caution for either of those incidents just yet, but tough break for Jeff Ramsdale as we see the 88 now slipping and sliding and getting through here. Oh, and he's around.
Caution's coming out this time for Richard Mills in the 88.
Didn't look like he took a ton of damage there. Just might have overcooked it right on the exit. Guess where? Of turns 1 and 2. So
go back and take a quick look at that. See, just all it takes, a little bit of slip sliding.
Insert the Tokyo Drift theme song here, Rick. He had that. He was holding that for a good while too. Good for him. That's a hard thing to do.
And everybody got through. It looks clean around him. He just made flat spotted those Goodyears.
Yeah, New Hampshire is a sneaky wide kind of track. You don't think about it being wide because you can't drive all the lanes at New Hampshire, but good for wreck avoidance, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So we're just 22 entries, and the fact that he was towards that middle back part of the field, all good for the 88. He may choose to come in. Of course, getting on pit road here and off is going to add some time. Under green flag conditions, you're going to lose a lap or two.
Yeah, that's part of that pit strategy here tonight is making sure you're timing your pit stops right and understanding when tires are going to get a little squirrely and maybe trying to anticipate a caution if you can. You know, nobody has a crystal ball inside the car, but trying to understand how your competitors are racing around you and take advantage of opportune moments like this as we see a few cars coming down pit road here.
Yeah, it looks like the 88 of Richard Mills stayed out. He did not. He chose not to come in, but Jeff Ramsdell, Dakota LaRue, and Garrett Walden all on pit road, probably getting some incremental damage repaired. It's easy to do under caution.
Yeah, might as well stop, get it fixed if it's small, especially early here because there's tons of time left in this race to make up whatever time you end up losing, if you end up losing a tremendous amount. So should be big smart heads up play by these guys to take care of their stuff and prepare for the long night ahead.
All right, first cautions come out here around lap 4. We're under caution here as the field gets reformulated, and the lights will go out on top of our pace car.
Everybody's still getting themselves sorted out back there in the back.
Yep. Jeff Ramsdell is getting off of pit road now, so he'll rush to make his way back around. See if you can catch this feel. Let's try to get a feel for where he is at as we see. Didn't see him in that 97 on that track map in the upper right corner. He is trying to catch back up the field. He should be able to make that in time.
Yeah, ripping around full speed there. It'll get quicker and quicker. He'll probably just make it back as the field's getting through 3 and 4 here. So,
yeah, the speed is 55 miles per hour on track, so he's going to probably catch this field just about the time they take the green flag. So good for him.
The old Kyle Busch slingshot. I don't know if we're getting into that territory just yet.
All right, there we go. Green flag in the air, and this field is back underway here. Lap 8.
And Austin Wheeler getting out to another great restart here as Parasini and DeRuger is going side by side, battling for that second place position. I don't know, Rick. If I was out here tonight, I'd want to try to run that middle bottom line. It feels like the place to be as the night goes on. It's easier to manage your tire. The top lane works. It's great. A little tougher to pass, but, you know, oh, as we have cars in the rear of the field spinning around, a wreck. Yellow's out.
Caution flies here back at the tail end of the field, trying to see exactly who was involved. I'm not sure what happened there. We may have to go back and try to figure out there. Oh, there was definitely some contact there.
They were 3 wide there, and just trying to.
That's the 3 of Ron Fitting. And that's Mike Wheel in the 96 come together. I think with a little bit of help from the 69 of Chris Cash.
Looks like they just got tied up together here on the exit of turn 4. And Wheel is almost out of the woods. That's just one of those racing deals where Cash is coming up and Wheel is sorting it out, getting him on the front stretch, and just gets spun right in front of the 3 there, Ron Fitting. So
I don't think
hopefully not too much damage.
The 96 or the 3 had a whole lot of options there. They were the victim of circumstance.
Yeah, just lay that foot on the brake and hope you don't have any wheel damage. That's about as good as they could hope for right there.
Absolutely. All right, that's caution number 2. That's probably not the best number so far, with only 11 laps in the books.
Yeah, it's definitely an omen for things tonight. Hopefully, it's not as we charge on here. Patience is a virtue. It always is. It's not always one of our keys to the race, but it's always a key to every race in some way, shape, or form. So.
Number of drivers on pit road. Jeff Ramsdell's back down for some repairs to be made. Richard Mills in the 88 came in finally after he was involved in that earlier incident. Ron Fitting and Mike Wheel both in from that last one. So, it certainly is an opportunity to come in, see if they can get some damage repairs made. It's a long race, 151 laps, 140 laps left. You want to take advantage anytime you can of being able to come in here and get some fixing done.
Yeah, every minute counts. Every second you can be on pit road getting your stuff fixed up to be able to get better, to make that pass, to get that point in these playoffs is time well spent. So these guys taking advantage, getting themselves right, and hopefully going to set themselves up for a little bit of a comeback here as the evening goes on. Now, are they going to mail somebody a lobster after tonight? Is that how this works?
I guess they could, yeah, or send them a digital picture of one.
One of the more unique trophies at this track.
It's massive too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, heck, I grew up in New England. Lobster like that, great for the tank and the restaurant, not so much for eating.
Yeah, it's interesting. We heard that story today. It was on, I forget where I saw it, but I saw the story today of how that trophy even came to be. It's one of the best representations, I feel like, of that part of the country. But just a couple of track execs eating lunch one day in a seafood restaurant down the road, and just like that bright idea struck them, and lo and behold, all these years later, lobster in victory lane.
There we
go.
As
these drivers get ready back in the restart zone, Austin Wheeler gets us back under green here. He's way out and away here. DeRugis on the inside line, looking to take that spot away from Pericini on the restart. Looks like he'll edge him out by just a scrooch now. They're sideways. Almost sideways.
Back involved. Clips the 22. Another wreck here involved. Third caution of the night. Richard Mills, Matt Pericini, Dakota LaRue, all involved.
Oh, man.
Trying to look at that 24, see if there's any visible, well, there certainly is some sheet metal damage, but not quite so sure about suspension. He's certainly trying to limping his way back to pit road as the field is coming back.
That was rough. That was one of those deals. Looked like the 25 just wanted to get by, but the 24 is trying to save it. I think it had to have snapped back up out of his hands after the initial contact, because he looked like he was down on that bottom line. Just tight margins here. Not easy. So you hear Pericini and DeRugis. They get a little bit close, but no contact. DeRugis is going to end up, I think, pulling away just enough to not be involved in what's coming next here. Is 25 of Mosau trying to hold his lane just barely clips that right rear of Matthew Parasini. Might even be netcode. It was so close. And just spins him around.
Yeah, for a moment there, you thought he was going to save it right about here.
Yeah, it had a point straight. And for whatever reason, we're back up the track. So maybe harder inside the car than to hold on to than we can tell. But gets a hold of Ty Bostic there, gets a hold of the 18 at Dakota LaRue, the 88. That's Richard Mills, who had some struggle already tonight, gets into him, and a little bit of a pileup as they were trying to figure that all out.
All right, that puts the number of cars on pit road. Unfortunately, both Matt Parasini, the 24, he has got, unfortunately, a meatball, as does Ty Bostic in the 22. Both of those cars are damaged. They got to wait out the repairs and just see how their day goes.
Yeah, initially it didn't look too bad for the 24, but a lot of smoke coming out of it there on the backstretch as we were watching the replay. So going to be some damage that's going to have to get taken care of. It's probably going to take quite a bit more time than he wants it to, especially with the track position he had to run here at New Hampshire tonight. That's a driver who's in a playoff battle here, needs to perform well, get back out on the track, and make sure he's competing at a high level here tonight to set himself up for the next two races. So we'll see what happens there. But 48, Austin Wheeler, going to bring this field back with John DeRugis to his outside.
Jordan Wenzel and Tyler Lem will be in the second row.
I feel like those guys are always up at the front there. The 48, the 81, the 99, the 25, the 17. They're always in the mix. They're the usual suspects here in the iNRS league.
Yeah, as just lamenting as our calendar is beginning to wind down.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Back under green flag conditions. 48 jumps out to a nice jump, which he can take advantage of that, try and get himself some clean air without all that drama. But right behind him, John Durgis is battling Jordan Wenzel, Austin Walton.
Yeah, looked like they all run up just a little high that last time. Gave the 81 of Jordan Wenzel a chance to have a little bit of freedom to control both lines there and really carry some momentum to capture that second position. Keep battling it out here.
Yeah, still 2 wide, even a touch of 3 wide there for a second as they work their way around New Hampshire. Super easy to get out of sorts here, got to keep that car pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, and it's easy to say, hard to do. We've seen it already tonight. Definitely one that's a challenge, especially on this track that's, again, as flat as it is. You lose that control over the car, and it snaps in a real hurry, and you don't get a lot of time to save it. Even as wide as the corners can be, you don't get as much time as you'd like, or that help from the banking to kind of ease you down off of the track at a good speed. It's like a highway crash, unfortunately, but hopefully we don't have too many of those left tonight. Oh, my goodness. The commentator's curse. 97 and the 19 getting into it there in the rear of the field. Going to bring out a caution here. Sorry, guys.
Yep, unfortunately, that's the 4th caution here at lap 20. That's John Ledger involved. Let's go back and see just what happened with the 19. Oh, the 97's got some smoke coming up the side of his car, just took him out. And unfortunately, the 96 also involved. But let's go back to the beginning of that. What's going on with that?
He just locked him up. Just took that corner a little quick. Locked up that front left tire, or the left side tires, and
yeah,
that car was he was just along for the ride.
Yeah, there's no way that car is going to change direction with the tires locked up like that.
Yeah, unfortunate stuff there. Already being involved in stuff earlier on, and now having some troubles again. So we got a few takers here out pit road.
Yeah. Number of drivers are on pit road. '79 of Scott Thomas on pit road.
Yeah, some drivers need to be on pit road. Others coming down here just to take advantage. Maybe you get a little bit of a short pit. Maybe those who see some all these yellows and think, maybe I best just sitting at the rear here and getting some position by attrition tonight, just making sure I can get the laps logged. So
Well, it's probably not a bad strategy.
it's definitely not a bad strategy. Might not be the most fun, but it's definitely one that gets the job done. Because if you're the leaders up here, you're hating this right now, as unfortunately these cautions just keeping any kind of mojo or muscle memory really going. I mean, I say that, but Austin Wheeler has been really just nailing it so far on these restarts, and then after he gets away running, really great lap times. But it definitely disrupts the flow a little bit as you get these yellow flags.
All right. 22 laps in the books, a number of them under caution here at New Hampshire. We kind of knew that going into this race. It is definitely a challenging track for these drivers.
Yeah, this track proving to be quite challenging. I wasn't sure it would be as challenging as it is. And the challenge is coming in places I didn't expect them tonight so far, Rick.
Absolutely. All right, just getting you some numbers here. Let's just do the math because we can do the math. So my estimate, let's double check this just to, because if they'll get about 65, potentially, they could do 65 laps of fuel on a full tank of Sunoco gas.
So they've got a little bit of time. They're burning some up here on the restart. 48 Austin Wheeler got another great jump. Saw John DeRugers on the inside line there, kind of laid it up, but got a great run once he got back across the start-finish line to contend for this second place position. And you see right there, I mean, on my screen, it's interesting to watch these drivers all pick and choose their braking points. You saw 59 check up a little sooner than the 81 did, and that's going to affect the 25 behind him and the other cars throughout the field, and it's going to make drivers a little comfortable or less comfortable with their partner in front of them to not get into them and tag them. So, as the 38 now sideways on the middle exit of corner number 2, and we'll have the 5th caution here tonight.
That is Shane Trotter involved. Just a little loose. The field did a great job of wreck avoidance, getting around and not colliding and being collected in that incident. But we are seeing a few retirees already. Ty Bostic, unfortunately, Matt Parasini, Christopher Cash. I think they've all said good night. They are packing up the hauler and headed to Kansas.
Yeah, good news for them. There's a tunnel here, so they're not trapped. They can go home.
That is correct.
From New Hampshire. So, it's tough. This is a tough place to race. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It's hard, and especially in these next-gen cars, it makes it that much more challenging. We're not even talking about challenges just to make passes, but to just run the car where you feel comfortable. So Kansas, a different story, though. Already looking forward to that next week. 1.5 mile tracks. That seems to be like what the best racing we've seen all year has been, both in reality and here in the iNRS racing series. It's always fun to have those big runs happen and guys really take care of their stuff and see what they can throw at the wall at the end. But yeah, I'm sure there are some deep sighs of relief after some frustration here tonight. And as unfortunate as it is, you look forward to next week and get that practice in and see what you can make of it.
Absolutely. All right, so again, we said it's our 5th caution here. Most of these have been single. Well, I can't take that back. Not all. A few have been single car incidents. A few not so much. Number of retirees so far. But I'm confident they're going to figure this out.
They're gonna have to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah.
They want to get to
Eventually,
the end
this
of
race will come to an end.
Yes, eventually. There may be 6 cars left in the race, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we're gonna stay a little more optimistic than that.
Yes, that we are. We may have to break out the New Hampshire trivia. I'll start looking for that.
Uh-oh. Not one of those again.
It could be.
What was it last week? We had 11 cautions in the first half of the race and then none the second.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So, you never know. The light switch can flip and things can get figured out here as the race goes on. If that can happen, anything can happen. Pace car is off. These guys are in the restart zone. Austin Wheeler with a great jump as he gets out and away once again. It's Jordan Wenzel chasing him down. Jacob Musau on the outside there as John DeRugeris looks for the inside line. They run 2 by 2. Followed closely in tow by the 27. That's Coriolis.
Yeah. I haven't quite figured out. We're just getting this race underway. Really, we haven't quite figured out where that best line is. A little bit of outside, a little bit of inside. Just haven't seen it. The track has not rubbered in at all.
Not at all. They haven't had enough green flag runs here, I don't think, to get anything really laid down to see where maybe they can make some additional speed just based on track condition. As Ennis and Musau there make work on the outside to get around John DeRugeris, who's running that lower middle line, not making quite as much speed as he needs right there, losing those 2 spots.
Field has kind of collapsed into a nearly all single file, but there's a few drivers out there trying to make things happen. Austin Wheeler out there by himself, out there in front, all clean air. It shows. He's just turned the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, getting into his groove, Austin Wheeler. That's not something you want if you're running behind him. Once he gets locked in, it feels like it's good night, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that last week. Unfortunately, didn't work out for him. Ran himself out of tire late in the race, but we've seen what Austin Wheeler can do and how he manages races and how he can lead laps and be dominant. So going to take something special to get everybody to catch up to the pace he's running. There is a competition caution at lap 51, I believe we said earlier, so it'll re-rack the field a little bit, but as these cars get strung out a little bit here, not running side by side, hopefully we get a nice little green flag run here.
All right, 32 laps are in the books as we head up to lap 51 for our stage break. We were pretty much single file, but that's kind of changed a bit here as these drivers begin to find their way around this track. We're watching the 99 of Tyler Lem working on the 17 of Austin Walton.
And you can see Lem is really feeling out where he's comfortable and where he has grip on the track. He just passed, who was it? It was the 28 of Joseph Musau there, almost 3 wide for a moment as he was looking to get around. But Lem feeling where he's comfortable now and getting to work on Austin Walton, trying to contend up here in the top 6.
Looking at the tail end of the field, you can see they're still 2 wide. That's the 97 of Jeff Ramsdell as well as the 42. The 19 is there. These guys are all trying to work their way back up to the front.
It's been a long night for Jeff Ramsdell already, and it's only 34, 35 laps into this race. I feel like we've mentioned his name a lot tonight, and unfortunately it hasn't always been in the most positive way as he's been caught in some incidents with those early yellow flags, but good-looking race car for him this week. Love that Build Submarines Red Sox kind of vibe he's got going on there as he's making some good lap time here, separating himself, getting back in line and trying to make up some time.
Look at Tyler Lem getting underneath the 17 of Austin Walton, working his way around. Trying to anyway. This is, we said at the beginning of the broadcast, this is a challenging track to pass. Anybody who's going to be out here on the iRacing platform trying to figure out this is the pretty much the official race of the week here in anticipation of Sunday, will know that this is a tough track.
Yeah, not one that I run frequently on iRacing. I will be very honest about that. It's certainly a place where, things can get tight, as we see Austin Walton and Tyler Lem there trading a little paint on the exit of turn 2, as Lem's going to have a little bit of an edge here, it looks like, coming off of turn number 4, and he'll take that spot over. But I don't think the pressure's off for Austin Walton. Joseph Musau now looking to make that move happen again, just like he just watched the 99 do it, and he's going to give it a shot himself. Let's see how close they get off the exit of turn 2.
Man, I think he had to back out a little bit. He almost got a little bit loose.
It's like what we talked about earlier, throttle control and being patient. You start feeling that car kick out from under you. You see what we just saw from the 28 there, where you lift up and live to fight another day.
Unfortunately, two of the drivers who have gone home tonight, Matt Persini and Ty Bostic, both playoff drivers.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's going to play into the points for them. On how they'll end up after tonight is anyone's guess. As these other drivers are going to have to make their way and score points and gain position. But unfortunate, they can't continue on.
Back up front, Austin Wheeler continues to, I won't want to say sedately, but he's just Sunday driving out here all by himself. Jordan Wenzel is in second with Jacob Musau, Corey Ennis, and John DeRugis. That's your top 5.
Nice to see everybody's kind of just calmed down and is running in a way where they're all just learning as much as they can about where they can push these cars on a longer green flag run now. That'll help them for later on in the race.
As we step back a little farther, back to Austin Walton here, battle with the 28 of Joe Musau, trying to get up and around, which the 28 almost does.
Yeah, Joe Musau's watching how far out Tyler Lem has gotten after making the pass and not having to battle with Austin Walton, and I think he's ready to do the same thing if he can. So going to be tight here off of turn 4. Slides up, and he's got the spot for now. That pass for 7th position out here on track.
So now it's Garrett Walden's attempt next. We'll see how that goes. See the 43 try to get up under the 17.
The 17 just not comfortable out there and not getting as much speed as he needs. Is moving the wrong direction, but a caution out here. The 79 sideways on track there through turns 3 and 4. Doesn't look like he collected anybody, but this will be our 6th caution of the night.
Scott Thomas. Let's see if we can take a quick peek at that real quick. Looks like he may have got the 97. Gets a little bit of help.
Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen that situation tonight with that car, the 97. He locked it up earlier and tagged somebody, and just like we said, really tough to gauge where your braking point needs to be and how much brake you can use to try to outbrake your opponent, to try to get that track position, that track time, get around a little quicker. And sometimes you roll the dice and win, and sometimes you roll the dice and end up sending somebody up in the wall.
Snake eyes.
Yeah.
Well, a number of drivers have made their way down onto pit road. The 17 of Austin Walton, Jeff Ramsdell on pit road, Tony Japs, Shane Trotter, Ron Fitting, and Chris McCash is still in the pits trying to get some repairs made to that 69.
Sometimes it's just one of those attitudes where it's hell or high water. You're going to finish the race, whether you're down 20 laps, 50 laps, 100 laps, you're going to come across the start finish line. And it's a personal satisfaction kind of thing. Maybe he's up getting himself a snack or a drink there amidst the repairs happening. But, just that determination as the playoffs march on.
Yep, he tried to get back underway. did not look like it it worked. You can't really tell exactly, this is iRacing, so you can't tell exactly what's wrong with your car. You can try to figure it out and try to put some get that car moving, see if it feels okay. But he obviously tried and said nope. So he's back in the pits getting work done.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. The tough thing about iRacing is you can't identify what's wrong with the car until you're driving it. And by the time you're out there on track or trying to exit pit road and you feel the car crab walking on you still, or you feel, the steering wheel still cocked off, half a wheel to the left or to the right, you just got to bring it back down. And it's unfortunate. It's tough, but one of those things that makes iRacing that much more challenging for these guys.
All right, so here's a quick trivia question. We'll answer it as we see fit. How's that for an answer? Who won the first NASCAR Cup Series race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway? This was in 1993.
My goodness.
Chew on that for a bit. We'll reveal that at some point in the near future.
There we are, back under green. Wheeler again with another great restart here as Musal and Wenzel going door to door with Ennis behind them. John DeRugers and Tyler Lem now. Tyler Lem moved up quite a few spots on that last green flag run and is now looking to compete in that top 5 as he's had a lot of speed here. We'll see what he can do.
Always challenging on these restarts. You bunch up that field that was pretty much stretched out for over half the racetrack, but now they're all tied up together here as they decide to figure out how to get around this track.
Yeah,
pretty much up front, they're pretty much single file, but don't look too far back. Double file action still happening in the back of the field.
Well, keeping my eye on the 17 Austin Walton. He came down and got fresh tires that last caution. Going to see him try to make some moves. He'll be side by side with some of these drivers as he looks to march back up to get his track position back. He was battling with the 99 of Lem, and that's for the 6th position. So I'm sure he's going to want to march back up. 17 currently in 12th, so he's got some road to run. But with those fresher tires, might see him do that here in a few laps.
Back up front, Austin Wheeler is out in front. You've got Jordan Wenzel sitting in 2nd, Jacob Musso in 3rd. Corey Ennis is now sitting solidly in 4th. John DeRugers is in 5th. Tyler Lem right there is in 6th. Garrett Walden is in 7th. Now Garrett in the 43, he is up 8 spots. He started in 15th. He's now sitting in 7th. Joe Musso is right there in 8th. Mike Wheel, good for Mike Wheel in the 96. He's been involved a little bit in some of those earlier incidents, but he's up 10 positions sitting in 9th.
Yeah, that 96 looked like a ping pong ball earlier with some of the yellow flag things that were happening, but awesome to see that recovery. The 43, Garrett Walden, he's just slowly ticking away position by attrition, just making sure he can get as much out of that car in that run as he can. Just grabbing up those points.
So just a couple laps to go before they'll throw that competition caution for this stage break. That's the 50th lap. That caution will come out at the end of lap 51 of the Mobile One 151 here on the iNRS Racing League.
Yeah, we see the 96 Mike Wheel going the wrong direction. It looks like he got a little tight there on the last lap, going through turns 3 and 4 as he comes back through these again, trying to collect it and be a little bit tidier on it this time. But he and Austin Walton, as well as the 55 of Vince Burns, battling for that 11th, 12th, those 11th and 12th positions right now. As we go back under caution here, lap 51.
Yep, that is, I think that is the stage at that point. That stage has been thrown.
So just a quarter, a third of the way through this one. Really, just a little over a third.
Yep, so That those stage points will be awarded to Wheeler, Wenzel, Musso, and the top 10 there.
And if I'm a cut line driver, I am feeling good about that run. I'm feeling good about finishing in the top 10. As they're all checking up pretty hard there, waiting on the pace car.
Yep. That is one of the challenging things about these short tracks, especially here on iRacing. You've really got to find a way to check up to catch up to that. Apparently, Shane Trotter somehow got involved. Let's double check this. That caution may have flown not because of the stage break. It may just have been because of an incident. We're watching here the 38. This was the lap just before we had planned a stage break at the end of lap 51, but this was at the beginning of lap 51 right here. I don't know what happened to the 38, but he is now showing a meatball.
Might have been a bad shift or something. Let's see what he does here through 3 and 4.
He's definitely kind of fallen back.
He's babying it around the bottom of the track, which makes me think he may have an issue that's not contact related. Oh no, he's going to go into the barrels! Oh no!
We've got to get another look at that. That was crazy.
It looked like he just drove head on right into them. There's no way.
This is, there are ways. I'm not sure that this was death by barrel.
Death by barrel, Rick. Yes. Yeah, he gets down on the flat there and just, I don't know. I mean, they're big, they're yellow. They're at the end of every pit wall. It's a tough thing to hit.
Yeah, historically this is an inside joke for a lot of people who've watched this broadcast over the year. We've always called that marshalling because there was a guy who that we knew that was his thing. So, yeah, but yeah, unfortunately the caution came out not because the stage break, but it was perfect timing, unfortunately or fortunately. But the 38, I believe he has officially retired for the night. So that's another driver who has called it a night. As the rest of the field now is live in the pits. Let's go back to where we are. Sorry, we're back under green. Sorry, folks. We're so infatuated with that incident with Shane Trotter, we missed the restart.
Fell up there, leading the pack here as he's trying to stay up there with the 48, the 25. After what's been an up and down night for him, sees himself sitting in third position right now. That's all about that pit strategy we talked about earlier. Big wiggle there from the 48 too. A little bit of pressure from the 97 of Ramsdell, but everybody running pretty good right here, right now. Ramsdell able to hang, stay up there with those guys.
Yeah, watching this battle with Jacob Musso up front with Austin Wheeler on his tail. Austin Wheeler looking for a way to get around the 25.
Yeah, this is still really tight. I mean, Wheeler going to look to maybe dive the corner here, get on the bottom, get a little bit back. Is he going to hit him with a little bit of a slide job almost? As he takes that spot back off the exit of turn number 2.
And Austin Wheeler back out in front here, lap 57. Jacob Musso, Wenzel, Ennis, Lem, Ramsdell, Burns, DeRudris, Walden, and Wheel. That is your top 10.
DeRudris just clipped the wall a little bit too there off turn 4. Definitely going to slow him down a scrooge. He might lose this next spot to Garrett Walden, but he's going to rally back and try to give it a fight here. Maybe not as bad as it looked like it was at the moment. So 97 also moving the wrong direction.
Yeah, he went in. He is back. He was back in the pits on lap 42. So these drivers that are around him have got at least 10 lap fresher tires.
And I understand the gamble there, trying to give something a try, which is all the credit in the world to him. Looked like it worked there for a couple of laps, but those fresher tires, you just see how much more you're getting out of them here as Ramsdale's just trying to control that car and keep the nose pointed the right direction. It looks like he's in a hornet's nest. He's got cars all around him.
Yeah, the 79 had a big run, was able to capitalize on that. Now is door to door with the 97. They're 3 wide. This is typically not the track you want to wind up 3 wide.
Not at all, especially the positions these guys are in here. Mike Wheel on the top there too. It's going to force Ramsdale to kind of check up a little bit. Also calls the 19 there to check up as well, not to get into each other. But they're making it work here. The 79 and the 96, they're splitting drivers in the middle here as they continue to march their way up through the front stretch into turns 1 and 2.
There's a lot of action happening here at the back of the pack here. We're all single file, top 10, but the 19 of John Ledger just got a good bump, and he saved it. John's currently sitting in 16th position.
Looks like 27's getting ready to make a move on the 81 up there toward the front of the field. It's Corey Ennis. Now door-to-door with Jordan Wenzel. He's been looking to his inside the last few laps. That's something here, too, that's unique, Rick. If you can get to the guys inside, you know, as unfriendly as it may be, you sure can force that driver to drive up a little higher, make them a little bit more uncomfortable, get that track position you need to carry momentum, and get that spot.
Well, it clearly is the shortest way around on the inside of this track, since it is a flat surface. It's not like you're going to be able to pick up and carry some inertia to help you gain some better speed on the wide side. You just can't. So if you got the inside position, you know, physics says that you're at an advantage.
Well, physics says it, and Corey Ennis has proven it. Uh-oh, but he might have to.
Caution flies again. The 96 of Mike Wheel is pointing in the wrong direction.
Oh, yeah.
Just a little tap from the 28. Cars checking up and getting through, and we're good.
Yeah, it could have been worse than it was for Mike Wheel, who was making some pretty good incremental gains there, but keeping it pretty clean. Just a fresh set of tires may be all he needs to get back and try to make a run to the front.
All right, 8th caution of the night, 64 laps complete. You know, we're doing better. We're up to an average of 8 laps per caution. Actually, what we're doing is curing some of the earlier sins that when we started this event. John DeRudris on pit road with Joe Musso, Dakota LaRue, Mike Wheel all on pit road. I'm guessing it's probably time for some tires for that 59.
Yeah, it sure feels that way. This is right about the time if you're going to come in and try to do a little bit of a short pit maneuver. You're feeling the tire slip out from underneath of you, and for John and some other drivers, this is going to be a crucial pit stop.
All right, 4 tires and Sunoco fuel on that 59 Chevrolet is back underway. All right, we're just 10 laps away from the halfway point here at New Hampshire. We thank you all. And hey, we had that trivia question, all that action. I forgot to give you the answer. So, who won the first NASCAR Cup Series race here in 1993? Any guesses? Anyone? Bueller?
I sure have no idea who it was, Rick.
Rusty Wallace.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
Rusty conquering the Magic Mile. First race.
All right, and here is, we'll throw one out there just so you can chew on this one. Which driver earned his first career Cup Series win at New Hampshire in 2009? Try to get that answer to you before 30 laps go away. So
These are good questions.
We'll do better. All right, lights are off. We got Austin Wheeler. He's the control car. Jacob Musso to the outside. About to get this one back underway.
See if Wheeler can work a little bit of that magic here again as we're back under green. Wheeler gets it done on the start. Jumps out. Ennis as well. Wenzel trying to go with him around the 25 of Jacob Musso. It's been the biggest opportunity for some major passing at the front has been on these restarts. As Austin Wheeler going to want to get away. He was challenged late in the run last time. And if he's having flashbacks to last week, I'm sure he's going to want to get out and away here and not have to worry about anybody challenging him for a win here tonight. But still a lot of race left here and a lot of time for things to change.
As you can see by the board, Austin Wheeler has led 64 out of the 68 laps here tonight.
He's just done such a great job of running consistently. I think he does this every time we see him up at the front like this. It's what gets him to the front and keeps him there is just the consistency and the ability that he has to run his line and not be forced to run other people's races. You know, he's able to do that and really make really significant gains and challenge this field to be the best they can be as he runs out in the league.
Looking back through the field, the 59 is making his way back up, currently sitting in 11th after that pit stop.
Yeah, John's got a good sense of where he can push this car and how he can be fast. So it's all about being patient and timing those passes well so you don't end up causing that next caution. But something to look forward to as that 59 tries to charge back through and get some speed on those newer tires.
All right, we'll ride on board with Austin Wheeler. Why don't we do that? It does take us a couple laps here.
Yeah, it gives us an opportunity to kind of see exactly how he's able to control this car as he's getting around through the corners here at New Hampshire. And you see it, just that very, very patient control of the wheel. Very, very patient control on the throttle. You see those lights lighting up his shift point as he's just off the throttle in some parts of this track, just letting the momentum carry him around the one lane up from the bottom and back up into fourth gear and across the start-finish line. So, kids, if you're taking notes at home, Austin Wheeler, someone you want to pay attention to if you want to be fast here at New Hampshire.
You've often heard the phrase, slow is fast, but it really is, when it comes to Austin Wheeler, it's just gentle movements, easy on the throttle, easy on the wheel. That prevents tire wear, and he doesn't overdrive corner entry or exit, which is part of, Sal, your keys to this race when we started here. Clearly, he's got that figured out.
Yeah, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, and Austin Wheeler is taking advantage of that to put himself out, not just at the lead, but to a pretty significant lead. It's just so crucial to not do too much inside of the car. It's really easy to want to try to really hammer it down, and you feel like you can reach out and grab the guy in front of you and set yourself up for something better. But it's talking yourself down and being smooth and being controlled. That's where crew chiefs and spotters and folks in your Discord chat can help you maybe accomplish those things as well. But Austin Wheeler doesn't look like he needs any help doing it. We see him do it week over week here in the iNRS League, and as he's the leader here tonight, it shows how it pays dividends for him. Looking
a bit farther back in the pack, you see a lot of, the 88 of Mills there, working his way back up. So involved in one of the first incidents we had here, but Richard Mills is up to 9th. He's up +7, and let's look at those gains that we're seeing. The first one that jumps out is Vince Burns. He's up 12 spots and now sitting in 6th, with John Ledger up 11. He started at the very back of this field when this race started. He's now up to 11.
So the biggest mover is going in the right direction. Looking at Jeff Ramsdale, too, not able to hold on to what we saw as an interesting pit strategy earlier in this race. He's losing, 12 spots back to 14th. And, so some things working for some of these drivers, and other drivers paying the consequences for some chances they took earlier on, as we see the 88 and the 17 continue to battle here.
Well, we've just passed the halfway point. And with that, we'll get our answer to which driver earned his first career Cup Series win at New Hampshire in 2009. Any guesses? Thoughts?
Oh, man.
No one on YouTube is throwing something out there, but Joey Logano.
Wow. I mean, they must have been just as stumped as I. What a win that must be to get your first career Cup Series win at a home track for him, right? New Hampshire.
Yeah, close by.
Very interesting. Very cool. That 88 Richard Mills. He's catching up to the 17 Austin Walton. They're trying not to give him too much of a shot through the middle of the corner there, but it's hard. That's such a hard thing to have to deal with, because the 17 is obviously running his race and trying to find the speed where he can, and the 88's on a big run there, and it's, you're either checking up to slow down, or you're going to end up sending the guy a little bit of how Brad Keselowski tried to send Christopher Bell in the Cup race last week, but you don't want to do that if on lap 80 out of 151. So a lot of patience here for Mills, as he's definitely going to look to get by the 17, trying something different here, staying up on the top side, but he's got a lot to look at, as the 42 of Tony Japs is as sideways Tony Japs.
But he kept it going forward. The caution did not fly. I was just about to make the comment that the 88 of Richard Mills, he was trying to get around the 17 of Walton, but unfortunately the 42 was sitting right there, and he could not drop to the low side. He was almost being, the 42 almost used the 17 as a pick, trying to get around the 88, but it did not work out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Tony Japs. I mean, looked like he was making a good run. He had some good speed in the car there. That's almost 10th place position battle right now. So 9th place position battle. So
yeah,
a better run there for Tony Japs, but unfortunately, just everything getting really tight at the wrong time, and it's caught a little bit of a pickle here, as Richard Mills is going to look to make this pass now on Austin Walton. They're door to door off the exit of turn 2. It's going to be a drag race down the backstretch. Who can outbrake who and get that little bit of edge? We've seen Mills with a little extra speed. He's got a little extra slide job in him. The car looks like it's not going to go anywhere on him.
And we're still side by side.
Yeah. Looked like he almost had it done, but
there it is.
That'll put Richard Mills up into the 8th position. He was working on that one for a little while, so that one's got to feel good, as he's getting some momentum now.
Back up front, Austin Wheeler out in front. Jacob Musso's got his hands full. He's got Koreanis on his back bumper. But really, these top 6 or so guys have separated themselves. Looking back, that's Vince Burns. He's all by himself right there, running in 7th. We just saw Richard Mills take over that space, and now you've got John Ledger battling with Austin Walton, trying to get around the 17, 19 versus 17, with the 79 there as well.
Similar situation like we just saw with the 88 and the 17 and the 40 and the 42 of Japs and of Walton and of and of Richard Mills. when you get into this like triangle formation, really tough to use all of the track to your advantage to make these passes happen.
I think the best run is when you diamond that corner and you can get a good run, but unfortunately when you've got someone on the inside like that, they can't they kind of interrupt your pattern, your ability to get around with the fastest line.
Yeah, Scott Thomas must have heard you, because he diamonded that corner through 1 and 2 so perfectly. He had a great run off the exit of two and was able to put himself in a little bit of a better position there on the bottom to make the pass. Not able to do it, but just as fast as you make that ground up, somebody on your outside's making it up too, and we see that now with Mike Wheel, who's come into the picture here for this battle. This is a battle for 10th place.
It's solid. You've got Scott Thomas, the 17 still there, the 96 of Mike Wheel, and don't look back too far. The 97 of Jeff Ramsdale now finds himself in this mix as well, and we are 3 wide for a moment there. That's scary stuff right there, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Ramsdale even, about a half a lap ago had to check up in a big way too. The 28 of Joe Musow. A little bit of contact. So as you see the picture kind of being painted here in this scenario, these guys are battling, pretty hard for these spots, and you never know what can happen. As looks like the 96 of Wheel going to get himself out and away from Scott Thomas. That battle cooling off, but that battle between the 28 and the 97 here just heating up.
I thought I saw one car blink. I could be wrong. I think it was the 28 of Joe Musso. May have had a little bit of a connection issue.
3 wide again almost there. It's the 19. Looked like he wanted to stick his nose. John Ledger wanted to stick his nose in there. Thought better of it seems.
They're still 2 wide. That's at the tail end of this field. And as you look at the track map, you can begin to see the field has elongated a bit. They're covering about 50% of the track. See the 18 of Dakota LaRue. He's that little red dot at the tail end. He is the last car on the lead lap.
Just logging those laps, putting it away, making sure you can get a clean run here. I mean, if you're gonna, unfortunately, if you're in an unfortunate position here tonight, just logging the laps and getting the time in and collecting the points, whether it's through stages, competing for those points, or race position here. However awful it seems right now, you just keep on charging forward. That's exactly what Dakota LaRue is doing. Might not be all sunshine and rainbows in that car right now, but you keep yourself in it. That's the only way you have a chance to win it.
Yep, absolutely. Get the points when you can. There's 22 entries in this event. Even if you were to finish in last place running, you're going to still wind up in 18th place and take those points home.
Absolutely.
All right, back up front, Austin Wheeler is all by himself out in front. Last thing Austin wants to see is a caution flag fly here at lap 92. Not trying to jinx you, Austin.
He is leading and out and away. Last week at Bristol, we saw how lap traffic played a pretty significant factor in the way that Wheeler had to run at the front here by the time that Jacob Musow got to him, and how Jacob Musow got to him. Jacob saved just enough tire to, when the lap cars came around, he knew he had the little extra juice to make the pass and give him the little bump and run there to win that one and lock his way into the next round of the playoffs. But lap traffic, not really something we think about when we talk about New Hampshire. Not saying we couldn't see it, but this track is much further spread out. It's a much bigger facility here. So I'm sure Austin Wheeler is excited about all that fresh, open track he sees in front of him at the lead.
All right, they're still battling in the back. That you see the side-by-side action with Garrett Walden and Austin Walton.
Yeah, these have been some of the best battles of the night so far. We're racing for positions in the rear of the field, but just, running hard, running clean, trying. It's the Austin Walton, a little bit of the wall there.
Yeah, That may have certainly have impacted that 17's handling. That was a hard hit.
And Scott Thomas drift up into the wall there too through the center of 3 and 4, and even the 28 on the exit of turn 4. Joe Musow caught a little bit. These guys definitely pushing it. They're pushing it. They're trying to find out where they can be and how they can make up some time. And as they watch the front pack get further and further away, it's tough, but it's trying to figure out how you can make that back up. So interesting to see these guys battle. I think that's why we get such good battles in this part of the pack.
Absolutely. All right, just taking a quick peek at the weather here. Track temp is risen to a really comfortable 87 degrees. Air temp is 73. That certainly is playing a factor here.
Tony Japp's back in the mix there, huh?
He is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a slip and a slide for him. There was no yellow for it. Able to just on raw speed alone, get a little bit of a run, and is back up here contending with these cars in the rear of the field. For position yeah.
Still on the lead lap here. All these drivers. The 42 of Tony Japps has had a challenging night tonight, but still finds himself sitting in 14th place. That's 3 wide through that corner.
Wow. Yeah, 42 shot the center of the gap there between, that 3 car of Ron Fitting and 79 of Scott Thomas. He's looking for more.
Yeah, he is. Looks like he's getting his sights set on the 17 of Austin Walton, who wound up really high.
Yeah, he drifted way, way up through turn number 3 there, and is really going to leave the door open for Tony Japps to start to set up that move a little earlier than I think Tony was ready for. So
now here's a fact to just throw out there. These drivers pitted last on lap 52. Nearly the whole field. There's a number of drivers on 64, but on 52, that is 48 laps on these tires.
That's a long way to go on these tires with this track temperature and the way these cars are running on this flat of a surface. We'll see how much longer they last.
And with the shifting, you've got that little bit of extra grip that they're using to decelerate going in the corners. That puts a lot of stress on the right side rear tire. We'll see what that does.
Yeah, absolutely. All that gripping and ripping on those tires definitely heats them up too. So if they're not falling off, they're probably hotter than you want them to be. And even though the track temp's only in the mid 80s, it still can be a handful here. As get back out front, Austin Wheeler. I don't know what's going to be a handful for him. He's a handful for the field. It looks like he's just
turning qualifying laps all by himself. Nobody around him, just doing his thing.
Driving Miss Daisy out there up the front.
Yeah.
He's got a significant gap now. I mean, what are we looking at? 3.5 second lead over Jacob Musow?
More.
That's pretty impressive.
But eventually, he's going to catch up to the 18, which is Dakota LaRue. He's back there running at the tail end. That's the 79 of Scott Thomas there.
Like you said, Rick, every point matters, and just finishing the race can put you in a better position running than if you had DQ'd, unfortunately, if you're not able to continue. So the 18, I'm sure, just wants to keep it all pointed the right direction, it all in one piece. And, if you need somebody to check him for damage, the 48's coming.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, the lap time deltas, let's bring up that last lap time. You can see that right now you saw Austin Wheeler turn to 30.37, about 0.2, nearly 0.2 faster than Jacob Musow. And if you look at Dakota LaRue, 30.79, so nearly 4/10 faster. So eventually, you're right, he is going to catch him. And as you can look on the track map, you can begin to see the field has kind of spread out over the entire track here. We will be due for pit.
They're on. There's 2 on pit road right now.
Tony Japs. Christopher Cash has been there, but that was Tony Japs. I think he's the beginning of what we should see with 52 laps in. We're at so 53 laps on this set of tires and fuel. My calculation says they're in 10 laps.
I'm glad that you're the one doing the calculations, Rick, because my calculations aren't even, they're non-existent. They wouldn't be very reliable either. So.
Well, you know, I'm throwing a number out there. It's my best. One thing we don't have is an actual accurate representation of the fuel mileage. This is based on what we believe it is when these cars are running in 4th gear and shifting down to 3rd. You know, our best guess is somewhere about 5 miles per gallon. It does stretch out when you're on a mile and a half or a super speedway. You can save some more fuel. We can get some more, you know, 5.5, 6 miles per gallon. But on these short tracks, it burns up pretty quick. It could actually be like 4.8 or so miles per gallon, and that tells me, in my calculator, soon to come in. Jordan Wenzel on pit road. So yeah,
spoken into existence.
It's about that time. Yeah. Now, number of drivers who pitted later. John DeRudro's pitted on lap 64, so he's got about 12 laps ahead of these drivers. But everybody will need to come in one more time.
Yeah, drivers who pit early, they're thinking about, could there be a caution here as they're gambling on staying out a little longer. But you know, this has been a really great green flag run here. They got it out of their system early, and we've seen some really great racing.
It's kind of what we saw last week in Bristol. Rash and cautions early on, and then kind of settled down. We're seeing that now. Number of drivers on pit road: Jacob Musso, Corey Ennis, Mike Wheel on pit road, getting their service done. Still waiting for our leader to come in. That's Austin Wheeler. You know, he's had nothing but clean air. He's not had to push that car much. He's just been able to just kind of save his tires, get around really smooth.
Oh, and here he comes.
Here he comes.
I was really curious to see when he was going to decide to do this, as we had some other drivers who were competing at the front. Wenzel, most notably, that last lap, you know, starting that cycle. So I'm sure he'll go for 4 in fuel here and look to get back out there as quick as he can and reopen that. Yeah, he's got such a great lead, almost 3.5 seconds here, that won't be too much of a battle for him. I think he'll be okay when he comes back out.
59 DeRudris also on pit road. He's a little bit early for his stop, but probably makes good sense to do that in conjunction with the leader. Garrett Walden, Ron Fitting also on pit road.
Yeah, I think John's strategy there was come with the leader after, you know, thinking about maybe staying out a little longer, but maybe seeing some of the way that the tire has treated these drivers late in runs. And smart call there from the 59 team.
All right, green flag pit stops underway. Tyler Lemon, the 99, also on pit road. The only car that is on pit road for an extended period of time has been Christopher Cash. Oh, big news. Jordan Wenzel, that time by fresh tires. Guess what? Fastest lap of the race. Jordan Wenzel, lap 111.
Yeah, they're getting comfortable over that long green flag run of how they can run this track, and those new tires are giving them that extra go, and they're in that right pedal. Is he looks like he grabbed a little bit of the wall there, might be going a little too hard, but really a good understanding of where the speed is here now, as he's going to try to charge back up and take the lead here. He's running in 5th right now, but I think some of these cars still have to come to pit road and get themselves a new set of shoes.
Yep, the two drivers at the front, Joe Musso and Dakota LaRue, have not pitted yet. They pitted last. Oh, and just like we talked about the fastest lap, well, guess what? Austin Wheeler now owns that title. He took it back, a 29.300.
My goodness.
But again, here comes Joe Musso on pit road. Expecting Jacob Musso as well. The only other drivers that are kind of off strategy here really is John Ledger. He pitted last on lap 94. We saw Austin Wheeler come in after 58 laps. It's going to be super close. He's going to be, I mean, it's possible, but John Ledger could make it, but he'll be on fumes.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy to run.
Well, Austin Wheeler finds himself back up front.
Looks right at home up there after last week and most of the larger part of this race here in New Hampshire. And just like we said earlier, just almost effortless. He makes it look easy, ladies and gentlemen, but let me tell you, it is not easy getting around this track. But once you get it clicking, firing on all cylinders, you can get in some great lap times. And that's exactly what Austin Wheeler's been able to do here tonight.
All right, 118 laps in the books here as we're winding our way down.
Looking at that track map too, you talk about where the cars are on track. We were looking at them before, strung out, close together. Now they're everywhere. There's little clumps of racing happening all over, whether it's drivers who are still out on their old stuff or trying to charge their way back up to the front here on their new stuff. Still, Austin Wheeler maintaining a consistent lead. I mean, Dakota LaRue, it's 4 seconds back of the leader right now. LaRue has not come to pit road, I believe. Is that
he has not? He pitted last on lap 64. The math is just saying he's out of gas. I don't know how he's on fumes for sure.
Interesting to see that strategy play out. I mean, I can understand it, running around at the rear. You just stay out, try to stay on the lead lap, and make as much of a run as you can out of it. But eventually, you're going to have a problem. The problem's going to be you ain't got no gas in it. So see what happens here as the 18 continues to march his way around.
Yeah, a little bit of sling blade there, Sal.
Yeah.
I heard that. I caught it. All right, so 121 laps in the books, 30 laps to go here at New Hampshire for the round 2 first race. Right now, no question, Austin Wheeler has really manhandled this event. Yeah. 114 laps.
Yeah, that's a pretty dominating performance tonight. Thus far by Austin Wheeler. There was a time that he was being challenged on some of those early race restarts with all those cautions that we had. So it's I'm sure he's very happy that those have subsided and he's been able to absolutely just dog walk the field here. It's been a clinic from the 48 here tonight so far.
Looking back in second place, Jacob Musso. Got Jordan Wenzel in his rear view with Corey Ennis there. Corey's having a good race tonight. DeRudris is there as well. Back a little bit farther. Let's get that gap information up on the screen. With that grounded green flag pit stops, that really has elongated this field here.
And it's going to be tough for everybody to squeeze back up with one another now that they're this spread out. You know, John DeRugeris is running in 5th position. You see just how much of a gap he's putting between himself and the 18, who, Rick, I really still don't know if he's just powering that car by magic, the power of prayer. I don't know what they're how that motor's still firing, because by the calculation he should be really close to the bottom of the barrel in terms of fuel, but babying it around and saving his fuel, maybe, but
I don't see a lot of baby in here. We're on board. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there you
And
go.
with that, Dakota must be listening. Did he turn off the car?
I'm still
No, he's
idling a little bit.
Yep, he's just coasting.
I'm sure he cut it down sort of the very end there, but understanding that strategy, just trying to stay out as long as you can, hoping to catch a caution maybe and get lucky, but no such luck in this run for Dakota LaRue.
All right,
We'll get
4
4.
tires. Yep. I was wondering if he's going to only take 2, try to figure out another strategy to get back out, but no.
I think that's enough. I think he's had enough fun tonight trying things.
Well, 26 laps to go here at New Hampshire. This race is winding down. It's been a clinic here with Austin Wheeler out here, who now runs up on the last car on the lead lap. That's Richard Mills in the 88. Right behind him, you've got Jacob Musau, Jordan Wenzel.
This feels very old school NASCAR racing. Just, you know, the best guy is putting it on him tonight, and even some of these drivers. Richard Mills has had a great race tonight through a lot of portions of this one, but probably won't feel that way as you're getting lapped. But you know, it's just sometimes you have drivers that are just, their understanding is a little bit head and shoulders above, but it doesn't mean you can't still have a great night and have a good run and get those points that you need. Just doesn't always look as exciting on the scoreboard, but it's absolutely part of this racing here in this playoff system that that everything matters.
Looking farther back, Mike Wheel, good effort today in the 96. He's up to 7th. He's really the biggest mover so far of the night. He is up 12 positions from where he started in 19th.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about him a lot tonight. It's just been a situation where he's been up and down and a little bit in the wall and in some tough positions, getting bumped around and 3 wide, I think he was at one point earlier with some competitors, but just really just staying in it and being smooth and patient and having a good run. Just 22 laps to go. This one's flying by, honestly. I mean, after the early flurry of cautions, we've seen some really competitive green flag racing. I really thought when we had the need for this green flag caution, maybe there could have been, a little slipping and sliding. Drivers are getting on some old tires. Who knows? Maybe the pit lane barrels might jump out again. But it's everybody's been really good about just keeping their stuff straight and keeping their nose pointed the right direction, and that's part of the playoff strategy for some of these folks. That being able to do that is going to play into how the rest of their year is going to go and how their playoff run is going to materialize. 97, Jeff Ramsdell there, continuing to battle. He's been a driver here tonight that's been all over. Again, not too different from Mike Wheel, where just figuring it out here at New Hampshire. We saw him lock it up a few times and get into it with a couple of guys, but as the night goes on, the understanding increases and the racing for you improves. That's got to feel good for the confidence as the night goes on. Even if the finishing position isn't exactly what you're looking for, it's still a good a good feeling to learn and evolve and understand exactly what's underneath of you as a driver here, especially with the level of competition that exists in this series, in the iNRS series. All of these drivers are just really cream of the crop. They all have, great racing pedigree, and it's been fun to watch them all here this season so far, and especially now in the playoffs as they're looking to compete for every inch.
Well, next week we'll be in Kansas for that Hollywood Casino 200. That'll be a little bit different kind of racing in Kansas. We'll see who can make a difference there and maybe punch their ticket. But right now, if all things stay as they are with 17 laps to go, Austin Wheeler may just make it easy for himself and move on, and he can relax.
Yeah, would be nice to have the pressure off the back for Austin Wheeler. Kansas is such a fun racetrack, though. It's such a fun experience for us up here in the booth to be able to watch these guys kind of mix and match and slice and dice it up. Those mile-and-a-half tracks, they treat us really good in this package, in this format.
Yeah, really, this, as you said, this car really is, it seems built, this season, the changes they've made, mile-and-a-halves are the sweet spot. All right, winding down here in New Hampshire. Austin Wheeler can taste that virtual lobster from here.
They're getting the butter hot for him in the media center right now. 15 to go. They're clicking away. It's just a matter of being strong and consistent. When you look those words up in the dictionary, Austin Wheeler's picture is right next to them, because that's the kind of performance he's put on here tonight. Just so smooth, so consistent, every single corner, really separating himself from the whole field, head and shoulders.
Working his way through lap traffic here as this field is spread out a bit.
He's running around there on the 12th place car. That's the 79 of Scott Thomas. We saw him lap a lot of cars last week at Bristol, and it's deja vu for Austin Wheeler all over again. He's already coming back around here on the 17 Austin Walton too, and even the 55 of Vince Burns might break into the top 10 here, putting guys lap down before the night's over. I feel like it's a challenge for guys when they feel so confident running at the front. Like, it's like, all right, yeah, I'll put them all lap down again. Let's see what happens. So,
he's just figured out he's got the speed, but I think he's just figured out his line. What's the best way around here, and he's just been a machine.
Yeah, just that smooth consistency. It's just been the leader for him, all night long.
That 48 car now up under the 17 as he sets his sights on the 55 of Vince Burns with just 12 laps to go.
Just something about him running that second lane a little bit. He just drapes those left side tires under the dotted line to the second lane as he centers the corner. But just the way he's able to carry speed and not burn his tire off, has been a masterclass. Obviously able to get out to good jumps on the restarts, but being able to keep that lead has been incredible to watch. As just taking it from the high side with those right side tires, being up there along the dotted, down to a little bit below, and just cruising along Sunday afternoon driving. Austin Wheeler's got his eyes set on this one.
So he puts the 55 of Vince Burns a lap down, and now on to number 9. That's the 42 of Tony Japs, who has recovered as well, has had a good race today.
Yeah, all the way back up to 9th position for Tony Japs. We saw him involved in a couple of incidents early on in the flurry of cautions in this race, and good for him being able to find that speed and get to it. That one incident where he got around, there was no caution. It could have been really challenging for him. Easy to hang it up in that moment and try not to charge back up, but he had the speed, he had the tires to do it. And put himself in a position where when they came for green flag stops the last time, put himself in a great place to run for a top 10 night here tonight.
All right, we're down to 8 drivers still on the lead lap as Austin Wheeler continues to pick them off. Not quite sure he's going to be able to track down the 43 of Garrett Walden, but you never know.
Never say never. It would be something to see him be able to lap the field again. But
yeah, he's got about a third of the track at this point. You can see it's pretty significant.
Yeah, it's a pretty tremendous gap for that to happen. But I'm sure Wheeler's very happy just where he's at. Somebody on the radio just asked him how he was at Phoenix. We're already thinking that way for Austin Wheeler. I guess the drivers are, and for good reason, though. I mean, come on, he's he's putting it to him tonight and starting to think about those things. If he can win like this here and race halfway decent the rest of the way. I mean, Austin Wheeler's one of the premier drivers here in this series every week, but not a bad question to be asking.
Well, especially when you think about the layout of Phoenix, it is very. I mean, it's not the same layout, but from a flat track, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, just 5 laps to go here in New Hampshire. Austin Wheeler has put on a clinic here on how to be successful on a flat track like New Hampshire here. If I am one of these drivers in this series, I am saving this race and would go back and study it from inside the cockpit of the 48 and just learn.
Yeah, I'd want to go back and just understand how he did this, because I haven't seen such a dominant performance at New Hampshire on iRacing or any racing in a long time, and this is really one to take notes on.
All right, 3 laps to go. Tick tock, tick tock. This race is almost over.
For Austin Wheeler, he'll be excited for one reason, and for everyone else, they'll be excited for another. But it's Austin's race, and everyone else is just on track around him, it feels like.
Looking back a bit farther, Jordan Wenzel has moved into the second place position, took that away from the 25 of Jacob Musso, who's actually got his hands full with just a couple laps left here. Corey Ennis is right there.
But passing happening further back in the field too. The 28 making some moves on the 55. And the 88. That was a pass 2 for 1 there, as Joe Musso went from 12th to 10th in a matter of a few corners as he's trying to play defense on the 88 and get himself a top 10 finish here tonight.
All right, that white flag has flown for Austin Wheeler. Just needs to kind of just run this in, and he is good to go. Really a dominating performance here in New Hampshire for the 48.
Yeah, just getting every lap just as good as the last for Wheeler. Fastest lap of the race. Just qualified on the pole and never looked back.
All right, congratulations to the 48 on the win here in New Hampshire. Don't go away, folks. We will have interviews with the top 3 drivers. Once this race officially wraps up, we'll bring you the results. The top 3 drivers will make their way to the start-finish line for their customary photo. going to be Jordan Wenzel and Jacob Musau.
Good looking group of cars up there. A couple of guys who compete really hard in this league week in and week out. Makes a lot of sense to see them. As Austin Wheeler gonna burn it down on the start-finish line. Celebrate this one a little bit. I mean, just absolutely from flag to flag, just domination. This is it on display here tonight.
All right, results are in.
Yeah, obviously, Austin Wheeler, the winner here. Jordan Wenzel brings it home P2. Jacob Musau in P3. Corey Ennis finishes in 4th. John DeRugeris wraps out the top 5. Tyler Lem, Garrett Walton, Mike Wheel, Tony Japs, and Joe Musau wrapping out the top 10.
Richard Mills finishes in 11th. You've got Vince Burns in 12th, Austin Walton 13th, Jeff Ramsdale in 14th, Ron Fitting in 15th, Scott Thomas in 16th, Dakota LaRue in 17th, 18th, John Ledger, Shane Trotter in 19th, Chris Cash finishes in 20th, Ty Bostic 21st, and Matt Parasini in 22nd. That is the field for tonight's Mobile One 151 here in the iNRS Racing Series. With that, let's go ahead and see if we can bring Jacob Musau into the broadcast booth. All right, there he is. Jacob, congratulations on your finish tonight. Man, it was a little challenging race at the beginning, but things kind of settled down.
Yeah, it was pretty wild there in the beginning. A lot of cautions, and unfortunately, I had a little bit of net code there with Matt early on, which is want to apologize to that for him. But other than that, I think once the cars got in a long run, it was super hard to pass. So luckily, I was up front, and I just played the Joey Logano or Ryan Newman, and I just blocked everybody.
Well, it certainly worked for sure. Congratulations on your P3 finish. You know, certainly as these playoff races wind down, every position is critical.
Oh, definitely. That's why I was fighting Jordan. I was throwing haymaker after haymaker just to hang on his door, not to give up second place, and then unfortunately burned my stuff up there, got him pretty hot. So I just settled in behind him and tried to hold off Corey there at the end.
Well, again, congratulations on your finish. Any shout-outs tonight?
All the boys at SFM, Corey, Eddie, and Joe, our buddies Garrett and Jordan. Austin on a great win. He dominated tonight. Nobody had anything for him. And you guys for a great broadcast, and iNRS for the fun league.
You got it. All right, there's your third place finisher, Jacob Musau. And with that, we'll bring in Jordan Wenzel into the broadcast booth. Let's find Jordan here and welcome him into the broadcast booth. Jordan, welcome. Challenging race here at New Hampshire. Tough to pass and get around for sure.
Yeah, but it was still. I just had a fun battle. About the last 20 laps was just me and Jacob, pretty much side by side for the entire time. It was a lot of fun.
Well, that's the takeaway. We don't want to ever lose sight of the fact that this is a simulation here. We don't do this for money. We do this for fun and the camaraderie and the fellowship. And if you can walk away saying you had a good time, that's what matters.
Yeah, it seems like I'm feeling that a little bit less and less, but this was definitely at the end of the race. A lot of the cautions early were just like draining. You're just like, come on, let's go actually race. But it finally got cleared up, and yeah, I tried to jump people with the pit strategy. I think I was the first one to pit, and it didn't really do a whole lot. I think I got Corey, and that was it.
Yeah, we saw different pit strategies for a number of drivers. I don't think it benefited anybody. There was no real advantage.
No, I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's probably the new car and the aero and stuff, but at the same time, you want to say that you can just drive through it, but I don't know.
Well, a second place finish here in the round of 12 is not a bad place. As we move over to Kansas next, I think it should be an interesting race. That track certainly is a good track for this car.
Yeah, in real life, it's done pretty well. I've not raced it yet with this one. I'm hoping it's good. It's been really good to me in the past. Drove through the field earlier in the year, and then I get the Roval, and as long as I can get through that, I think I'll be fine.
Sounds good. Well, congratulations on your second place finish. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, everybody that we race with, you guys for putting it on, SFM and IRFK, the guys that I'm chatting with all the time, and then the guys who put the league on.
All right. Well, congratulations, Jordan. We'll see you next week at Kansas.
Alrighty, see you there.
Got it. That's Jordan Wenzel finishing second here in New Hampshire. But with that, we can bring into our winner tonight, Austin Wheeler, who pretty much put on a clinic on how to get around a 1 mile flat track. Austin, congratulations.
Thank you, man. That was a lot of fun.
It had to be. You were we were marked at least a couple times in the booth. It was, we go back to the tail end of the field, and these guys would be 2 and 3 wide and battling for 14th, and then we click to you, and it's just cruising around, turning laps, clean air,
Making it look easy. Making it look easy.
Clean air is king with this car in the update. If you can stay up front, you can control the race. That's the name of the game.
Well, it clearly was for yourself. Dominating performance tonight. Majority of the laps chalked up in your win column. Well, let's talk about Kansas. What's your thoughts?
Believe it or not, I love Kansas. So I hate New Hampshire. I know I won here tonight and stuff, but I do not love this track. But I do love Kansas. So hopefully it's hot enough. We'll be ripping the wall, and I think I won there in the spring, so we'll try to go back to back.
You got it. Well, congratulations on your win tonight. Any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting. Josh and Scott putting on the league. All the guys in here, they do a really good job. I mean, all the drivers to run 100 or 80, 85 laps green there at the end. Green flag pit stops in New Hampshire. I think that's a first for me. So kudos to these guys running in here and keeping it clean and running hard.
You got it. All right, folks, that's your winner tonight, Austin Wheeler, who takes the Mobile One 151 here in the iNRS Racing Series. For Sal and myself, Sal, pretty good race overall once we got past those cautions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just taking notes and watching Austin Wheeler up there at the front, one that everybody can learn from here tonight. For a track he's not good at, I hate to see him at one that he does like next week at Kansas. So a lot to look forward to as we get into the middle of the second round of the playoff bracket here, the round of 12, and keep on moving forward. I don't know. Exciting times ahead of us.
Absolutely. All right, folks, for Sal and myself, we thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast here of the iNRS Racing Series. Tune in next Wednesday night when the Tech for Troops Cup Series will be here at New Hampshire. And then on Thursday night here, the iNRS Racing Series returns for the Hollywood Casino 200 at Kansas. We appreciate those of you who have tuned in live and those who have watched us on replay. We thank you for that and wish you a great night and good night.